Hey everyone, it's All You Know 1994. I hope you all are having a great day today. And in today's video, I want to touch on the elephant in the room, so to speak, on the XDEFIANT shutdown and what my general thoughts and opinions are on what happened, and kind of just give my 2 cents on what I feel caused it and what could have prevented it. And also just kind of talking about the huge uh, content drop that they released to the game a couple days ago or a few days ago. So sit back and relax, and I hope you guys enjoy. So to start off, let's start with the bad things, obviously, first. I mean, let's just get the bad stuff out of the way. What I feel really was the ultimate downfall for this game, and what I think could have been done differently to maybe prevent such a thing from happening. First of all, I think them prioritizing ranked play in this game to start so early was a mistake. Now, I don't necessarily believe that ranked play shouldn't have been brought into the game, but I feel like there were other key features that needed to be in the game from launch, if not launch in post-launch content, early post-launch content. For example, I think prestige system should have been at least brought in by season 1, if not sooner. Private matches should have been in the game from day 1 for sure. And just overall, I think they should have been prioritizing those things first and foremost and let ranked come in after. Because, let's face it, ranked play in most shooter games, at least in my opinion, they have a very small niche player base. It's not a very big percentage of the player base in any game. Not to say that it's not important in video games, but it's definitely not as important as, say, like a prestige system or having, custom lobbies and private matches that you can have play with your friends. So I think that's one reason why this game just really didn't do that well, and was kind of one of its main reasons it fell off. And then another thing I think is they should have marketed the game better. And by that I mean I think they should have not made this game free to play. I know that sounds stupid, but hear me out. This game, for as great of a game as people say it is, and I am one of those people, I think this game was a very good game. I mean, I think it was a great alternative to Call of Duty when you don't want to deal with that sweaty SBMM bullcrap. XDefiant was there to give you that more, while still sweaty, more casual-like experience in its shooter game. I think that they should have charged up front for this game. That could have been anywhere between $20 to $40, I think is the numbers that I thought would have been good. Because then at least you would have been making somewhat of a profit throughout the last 6 months with the initial sales. And I just think because your store bundles really were lacking in terms of just what people wanted, is what really hurt this game, because financially Ubisoft is already in the gutter, as most people know, and the store bundles and the content for most of the time that this game was alive and running with a good amount of players, the bundles just really didn't pique my interest at all, or to the point that I was willing to go and spend money on them. So I think that they should have been upfront just charging for this game. I know that that might have deterred people away, but the facts are the facts, man. Free-to-play is a very hard thing to get into unless you're like a very well-established game or you're an MMO. Because just if you're not going to be making initial sales on your game and you have no other real way to make money for your game, there's no way a publisher is going to be able to support the game without any other way of really making money on it. And that was mainly why XDefiant flopped, in my opinion. But aside from all the bad things, let's go into some of the good things here that I think made XDefiant stand out head and shoulders above any other FPS game I've played in recent years. First of all, as you'll see in this gameplay, I'm playing on one of the maps they released with the big Season 3 update, West End. Hands down, one of the best maps I've played on in this game. Just the way that these maps were created, I don't know who was in charge of map design with this dev team, but my hat's off to you. These have been some of the best linear and arena maps I have played in a shooter game in the most recent years. Like, I'd say in the last 5 or so years I've played any shooter games. These maps just had great flow, albeit they could be kind of abusable with certain maps on certain modes with spawn traps. But, I mean, realistically, you can break spawn traps very easily in this game if you have a good squad you're playing with that knows what they're doing. And even if you're playing solo, it's not hard to break a spawn trap. And I just feel like these maps are probably A tier or S tier for most of them for me. I had a great time playing on all of these maps, and not just the ones that they released with Season 3's update, but all the ones from Season 2, Season 1, Season 0, from the beginning, man. All these maps were just really, really great design maps, arena maps and linear maps all together. Another thing, obviously, and this is where people think that, this is what made XDefiant kind of stand out, was the fact that there was no SBMM. As much as people will argue that SBMM needs to be in video games, I personally disagree for the sole fact that this game is living proof of it. If you have a good matchmaking system where it prioritizes ping, party size, input, and region, you can have a good multiplayer shooter. You do not need some strict SBMM, EOMM algorithm manipulating every single match that I have in my game. This game is living proof of that. I feel like this game, not having SBMM outside of ranked and the welcome playlist, is really what drove me to come to this game and made me stick around. Now, granted, on my XD tracker, I only have 106 hours of playtime, so I don't have nearly as many hours as a lot of other people you may have seen on the scene. But just in those 106 hours, I can tell you it was the best 106 hours I've ever spent in a shooter game. And it's mainly because of the fact that there was no SBMM ruining my experience. And then my final point that I wanted to make is the fact that I feel like a lot of people labeled this game from the start, and I think even the developers were kind of leaning towards this in the early days of XDefiant, was they wanted this to be the quote-unquote COD killer. And in my opinion, I just feel like that's just a load of bullcrap. This game was never, in my opinion, going to kill COD. Nothing will ever kill Call of Duty. The only thing that will ever kill Call of Duty is Call of Duty itself. And that's just something that people have to accept with this game. There were so many people out there that were coming at this game's neck, coming at Mark Rubin's neck, the dev team's neck, that this game needed to be the next COD killer. It's going to kill COD. If it doesn't kill COD, then it's washed. I don't see it as that being the case. There's so many redeeming qualities for this game. It's a hero shooter, so obviously there's going to be faction abilities and stuff like that, and all of the factions, well, were really good and well designed. Even the ones that you've seen in the most recent update, the ones that that they ended up releasing that we're never gonna see after June 3rd. With the Wolves and the Omega Force and the Assassin's Creed factions. They're all just really good. And everything about them just makes me wish that this wasn't the case, that XDefiant is leaving. It's a very like Mark Rubin said in his tweet, it's a very bittersweet moment having all this content given to us, knowing what the true outcome of this game is. I feel like overall, if I had to rate this game based off of the time I had played on it, I would give it a 9 out of 10. There was obviously, like I said at the beginning, the game isn't going to be perfect. There was obviously some issues. The netcode was a big point of interest that people really wanted to see changed, and it was coming. It's just the fact that Ubisoft pulled the plug on this game too early, and we're never going to really be able to get the chance to see what this game could have done outside of what the content drop was in Season 3, which, was a lot of future content that we were going to get over the next year. But, it's just a bittersweet moment, and I really wish that people would have been less ignorant about this game, and I think that with enough time, if they would have just waited a little longer to see what Season 3 could have done, I feel like this game could have been a lot better, and it could have had a lot more players. And I also think that they should have upfront had a charge for the game. But with that being said, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like down below and a comment. If you didn't like the video, go ahead and leave me a dislike. It doesn't hurt my feelings. And I will catch you guys in my next video. This is All You Know 1994. Peace out.